Frozen. Oh, no, it's not. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another review video. I'm Niko, aka Niko is Creative. Let me cover my ears up. That looks so goofy, doesn't it? Ha! Anyways, different camera, different angle because my other camera decided it wanted to do a do again. We'll fix it. We'll fix it for one time. We'll fix it again. Speaking of, in order to help support the channel, consider subscribing, consider leaving a comment. Tell me what books you would like to see me review. If it's a book that I probably won't touch to save my life, consider going to my Ko-fi and making a contribution um and to request a book as well. Those will get priority over just regular comments, unless the comments are in not insatiable. What's the word I'm looking for? So numerous I cannot ignore it. Anyways, on to our review of the day because we have it here right on the screen because it's a static image and I didn't create anything new and innovative or dynamic yet. By the way, this is Bookshops and Bonedust. It is a prequel. I stress a prequel to Legends and Lattes, which was our first review for the channel, and therefore we're following up with the prequel for the review. Note, there may be some spoiler comments made when we compare this book to Legends and Lattes. So if you haven't read Legends and Lattes yet, I highly suggest reading that first. I'm gonna try not to do too much in the form of spoilers, but you know how it goes. Anyways, Bookshops and Bonedust is, as I said, a prequel. It is in the same cozy fantasy genre, but it features a lot more action and conflict and fighting scenes than our first entry into the series did. Or the setting, because we don't really have a series or a series title yet. We have a setting with a specific group of characters. If there is a series name, let me know. I will correct myself later on when I talk about any future releases for this book or any books that are attributed to it from Travis Baldree. Um, as far as prequels go, I feel this book they're always kind of like hit or miss. There's never really a safe in between for them. But I feel like this book does manage to be a good read, and it brings some of the charm and adds some new stuff to read or experience through the writing of Mr. Baldree here. I want to say Travis Baldree, Mr. Baldree, Sir. Who knows, ma'am? I don't know. I have to do research. Um, I would argue it's kind of it would be better than the first book. I think it still suffers. Um, it still suffers from some of the plot of convenience. Things just conveniently being there to help save the day. So what could potentially be a drawn out fight or a drawn out issue or a mysterious reappearance of the big bad or something gets basically hand fed to you, the reader, and to them so they know that it's coming. So over the top, like it might as well be like a comic book villain or like some very wahaha cartoon-esque villain that just makes sure that you know they're coming. And it doesn't foreshadow it very well, doesn't ease into it. The pacing for it is still very the pacing is still an issue, I feel. I feel like they don't properly like allude to things and ease into plot elements. Um so generally something's like for example, dude shows up, causes chaos. Oh, look, by the way, this is why the dude was here. And it was like, oh, conveniently spotted because it was in the back room when I found it because OMG. And it's like, I don't mind it, but if it was more like subtly played into, like the book gets like it gets mentioned once, and then it's like, oh, well, just put it over there back in storage, and then later on it gets brought up again, like a proper like Chekhov's gun type situation where the item is there, you get it mentioned, it's brought up very passively, and then it goes into it gets revealed later that that thing was actually really important, and this is why. Uh, but instead, we get oh shit, there's this important item here. This is why everything happened. Oh my god, don't open it. And it's like, okay, but where was this book earlier in the thing? It just conveniently popped up. Maybe I missed a part in the audio because I listen to these books. Do a lot of driving and walking my dog. So some books I'll physically read, while some books I'll borrow audiobook style from Libby. So I have like something to listen to when I'm driving or walking, especially walking the dog, which you'll see a lot of in my shorts because most of my shorts are just slice of life, doggy thing, books I've bought, hauls, maybe some fun clips from live streams or video game plays. Anyways, I'm digressing here. So like I said, it doesn't feel as natural. The pacing feels a little bit off. Um, already covered that point. I use bullet points in a script, so I'm kind of coming over it to go over like what I thought of everything. Um, the but while like those were issues that I found with the book, um, the upsides for it is the inclusion of the more action. It really showed that he could write a good fight scene. It flowed well. It felt more natural to Viv's character at this point in time because she's still a badass warrior, not yet on the cusp of, becoming a coffee shop owner like she did in the first book. She's still not learned everything. She's still not exposed to anything. In fact, the story talks more about how she obtained black blood, which you get introduced to in the first book. Um, but it only gets alluded to as being important in the first book. So when we get to this prequel and you get black blood, she doesn't have it yet, so it shows you a sign that this is an earlier book. Viv does not have black blood. The first scene you get is a Merc battle. I didn't know this was a prequel at first, so I was so confused. I was like, why are we in the middle of a fight? And it turns out it's a prequel. I didn't read the synopsis to know. I just went in completely blind. So I was really confused at first, and then I realized it was a prequel story to Viv being exposed to like this cozy shop style and what type of life she would actually want for herself. Um, I also I really love the cast of characters. Viv is great. I'm forgetting names. Fern is great. Her little Griffith pot roast is on the cover here. The little dude with a little nose, a little pug dog. Um, he's adorable. Um, Satchel's great. Oh god, there's so many great characters. I want more on the snake lady guard chick. I'm forgetting her name. I feel bad that I'm forgetting her name, and like trying to look up these characters is really hard because there's not very many. There wasn't a really good. The Wikipedia was more about reviews of the book than actual characters and a brief synopsis listing the characters. Um, I think the book does a better job of balancing that action aspect with the thing, and not everything that was resolved through a convenient item. There was one or two fights that ended because of convenience, but and one or two threads that were done because of convenience, but it didn't feel as like detrimental to the story as it did in the first book. This is still a sapphic read. We still got a sapphic main pair. I assume. I mean, I can see the future like Team Tandre versus Team Melee if they never properly resolved out Melee enough to know if she's completely out of the picture by the end of the book. We just know that she is now in a future time. Oh well, yeah. Never mind. Never mind. It's revealed in this book that Tandre is now her wife. So there's a lot of time skip and like fuzzy holes that I've just forgot about until I remember the little after chapter where Fern's like, I'm gonna come visit. So never mind, no Team Ailey, no Team Tandre. I'm wrong. Stand corrected. Um I didn't really like the romance subplot in Bookshops and Bonedust. Um as much. Maybe because it was a little heavy handed. Not heavy handed. I don't think that's the right word. I think the character Melee came on a bit strong, but that might be your character and it might be a preference thing for me. Um, it wasn't awful. Like the cause for the relationship made sense to the plot that they were building towards for the original first book. The prequel obviously comes first chronologically. So a lot of the stuff in that makes sense. A lot of the things alluded to make sense. It's just there's so many pacing issues. I can't give this book past a 4. It's the same one of the big reasons that kind of impacted the rating for the first book. Pace is a very big thing for me. And when things either feel like they're going by too fast or they're going by too fast and I'm forgetting things or not even forgetting things. Like when things are going by and it suddenly feels like they're conveniently shutting down a whole plot thread because they don't want to spend an extra chapter on it. Like bad dude conveniently ends up dead off screen. Nobody knows what happened to him. No backstory to that. Okay, well that's great. So we assume what happened to him, but he's conveniently dealt with, so the characters never don't have to worry about him again. And then conveniently they find out why he was in the shop shortly around that time. Conveniently they figure out that Fern knows about the bone dust thing, which is fine. She reads a lot of books. It's okay for her to have that knowledge. I play those type of D&D characters all the time. Um, so there's stuff that didn't really take away, and there's stuff that did for the pacing for me. Therefore, like I give this book more of a. I don't. I think I enjoyed the read more, but as an overall book, I want to give it down, like knock it down to a 3. It just felt kind of like I don't know, something not quite as good. I do recommend it, however. I want to see more cozy fantasy. I want to see more uh books in this area where like it's all about like the relaxing slice of life venture, maybe some balance with some drama, pace it out nicely so it's not too much in the angst of drama, but just enough to where like you feel like the characters are being challenged. Because right now the only thing I feel like in these books is the characters aren't being challenged, or if they I do feel like they're being challenged a few chapters later, it seems like that challenge was a moot point and it's gone, and I don't find that satisfactory. I don't like things just conveniently being resolved. um and like I said, and like it doesn't need to be grimdark. It doesn't need to be like full of horrible things. It just needs some pace and a little bit of drama being handled in a order of events where it feels natural and not just conveniently fixed off screen or by some random oh by the way moment. It's and that's where I feel like the book suffers, is just some of the pace and some of that. I think I'm repeating myself, so I'm gonna cut it here. It is a really good read. I really do recommend it. It's a fun read. Not perfectly executed, hence the three threes are generally my recommend. uh and I go up from there. The closer I get to 3, the more I kind of sort of don't. I'll make a video about my 3 to 5, my 1 to 5 philosophy later. That way I keep it fair. This for me was a 3 out of 5, which means it's good. It's recommendable. It's fun. So, anyways, love you all. Have a good day. Remember to hydrate and take care of yourselves.